We go. Alright, let's get started. Alright, welcome back to Backstabbed in a Backwater dungeon. Anime review, episode number 2. We're here reviewing the episode known as The Abyss, which, with this episode, we have 10 to go. So we got a while. Don't worry about that. So, we jump ahead 3 years after the events of the last episode, where Light has turned the Abyss into a small country. He apparently has a palace with a gigantic throne room, where it's also elevated with like a series of 2 steps. It's basically got pillars. I'm like, damn, this thing is huge. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest throne rooms I have ever seen in the anime. I mean, this whole area is the size of a half of a skyscraper. It's humongous. And it's like a castle town where he's in. He's basically with his maid May. And apparently basically he summoned 3 more beautiful women plus a trainer. And the people who he summoned are let's see. There is, I think it was, there is Nazakia. She is a blue-haired girl who acts like a cat. Eri is a tall woman who's a blonde who does patrols. And there's Akira, who is a vampire knight. Yep, they call her Beast Name, which I call a cat. And of course, basically, well, in the case of the Vampire Knight, of course, Nazia, all she does is basically just patrol around the dungeon, and in the case of the other woman, she basically just shows up, gets patted for doing a good job, later on she's light, and that's her role the whole episode. Ellie run into her when she is on patrol, while the Zia, so Alia is basically the beast tamer, which apparently, according to the maids, Light summoned her 3 months after he summoned May. And it is asked, basically, it's kind of exactly what he did those 3 months. He basically read lots of books in 3 months. And the maids basically in the episode suspect that possibly May was sleeping with him sexually. Where apparently at one point, Azuya, when she stops by Light's room, May is there, and presumably she may have put the pillow between her legs and basically wrestled the sheets up. To the point where she's sniffing Light's sheets. It's implied maybe she's obsessed. It's like this relationship between her and Light is similar to Albedo and Ainz, kind of. Now this Light suspect basically the woman he summoned basically made everything for him. It's not really tell anyways. So we see him training, and then also when Azui is in the giant throne room, which this throne is huge. This is one of the most biggest thrones I have ever seen. Normally thrones are never usually this big in animes I've seen. Some people might be listing off other animes with these gigantic throne rooms, or a throne that basically with the top that basically reaches the freaking ceiling like this. Like, oh my gosh. Like, this must have taken basically years, like, the size of it, but he probably had good construction workers. So, he probably had this built pretty quickly. So, Izia, where she's basically just she's basically on the throne itself, like, where she's sniffing the throne, and then she makes off the wing of one of the little angels on the throne. I've never seen this on the throne before. Little angels. Because normally these thrones tend to be like, with wooden handles on them. Because basically all they are is just basically, oh, let's fight who gets to sit in this big chair. Yes. And No, but Thrones, the head part is basically just above the head. but this one goes to the ceiling. So, breaks off, and then when the maids are cleaning the gigantic throne room later on, which, by the way, they're actually using, and this is weird for a fantasy setting, they're using dust mops to clean this damn thing. I'm like, really? Dust mops. I'm like, this is a fantasy world. When the heck do you get time to learn about dust mops? That doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah, or using cloths to dust a place. I mean, yeah, I'm guessing probably that these maids probably come from the real world. That's why they basically act like this. They, of course, noticed the broken wing, and they probably assumed them did, but no, it wasn't them. And that Light has a bat, basically, with his trainer, but it's a guy. And then afterwards, meets up with 3 new characters, like, ooh, the plan is to go to the surface. Also, Osagusa finds out basically a rant from the other maids, who describe her as a tyrant, and just ask her to please stop being a tyrant. So she's like, okay, you have to clean the hallways. But then, of course, apparently she overhears them discussing that she should die, so she has such punishment for them to clean the throne room. Yep. And then the episode ends with Light confronting a hellhound, which he seemed like a bit traumatized from the last episode. But apparently this actually is his pet. For reasons. Not really sure why, but that's basically what it is. And that's pretty much the episode in a nutshell. The best way you can describe this episode is, it's like, we introduce basically the town Abyss. Oh, by the way, the episode doesn't end there. It's not in there. It's actually ended with Return of Gyro. Apparently he's head of his own beast gang. Interesting. So if you're curious how much of the light novel it covers this episode, well, I think like the first episode covered the prologue and probably the start of chapter 1. And this probably covers the first half of chapter 1. Yes. But there's not much else to say about this episode. That's that. So that's pretty much that particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up, we have My Dress Up Darling. Yes, back to this show now. Next video. Bye.